Are you informed? Are you aware of your school's performance? Are your schools living up to their potential for every student? These are the kinds of questions the Public Affairs Research Council of Alabama, or PARCA, like to ask in our research. After all, public education represents one of the largest expenditures of your state and local tax dollars. I am Ryan, and I will explain to you some of the reasoning behind this research. At PARCA, we study schools and their subgroups and rank them against each other. Our first premise is simple. All schools and students can improve. Our goal follows this principle, to set reasonable standards of performance improvement for every school and student. I'll tell you more about this in just a minute. From where you are, you can find the results of your school in just 2 clicks. But first, let me show you around our site for just a few minutes. If you can, move the cursor to the right side of the page and click on the link just under where you see Database. On this page, you will see a broad overview of our goals and methods. As I already stated, our goal is to encourage standards for improved performance for each school and student. We do this first by ranking Alabama schools and subgroups against each other using the Alabama Reading and Math Test, or the ARMT, and then by comparing these results to the national setting using the NAEP results as shown here. Furthermore, as you can see, these results are divided into a colored code. These colors measure the 5 levels of performance we examine: high, above average, average, below average, and low. We do this by color coding the results as shown at the bottom of the page to provide a visual representation of performance patterns. I told you that you were no more than 2 clicks away from finding your school's results. Now you're only 1 click away, and I'll show you how to find them. Simply scroll to the top of this page and click on the latest year. You should have a list in alphabetical order of school systems within the state. Find your school system and examine the results. I'll click on one to show you. The first 2 pages give you a brief outline of how we measure success. Our common standard for all students is level 4, which exceeds the academic standards based upon the comparison of the NAEP and the ARMT results you saw on the previous page. We also rank students according to subgroup. These subgroups are white, black, poverty, and non-poverty students. It is important to keep in mind that the point here is not labeling. In fact, it is just the opposite. Our premise that everyone can improve applies to each subgroup. Analyzing results by subgroup ensures that we focus on persistent performance gaps that need to be eliminated. The colored code corresponds to how many students within a school or school zone reach level 4. As you can see, dark green represents the strongest results and dark red represents the weakest. But it is important to remember that all schools and students can improve. Being in red does not mean the school is a failure. It simply means there is room for improvement. In addition to the 5-colored progression from red to green, you will also notice a 6th color, yellow. Yellow means that the subgroup gap within the school is lower than the gap benchmark and that both subgroup scores are higher than level 4. If you see a lot of green and yellow in your school, it is probably an indication of success. Now scroll down to the first page of results. The first page shows the results for the school system at large. These results are divided by grade, subject, and subgroup, and the colored code you see is based upon the comparison of the system's results and the state's average results. On the right side, you also see the gap between subgroups, which corresponds to the yellow I told you about just a minute ago. Now continue to scroll down to the various schools in this system. These results are organized the same way, except that the colored code corresponds to the comparison of the actual school to the state average. Some of these schools are filled with a lot of red, while others show heavy green and yellow. But consider this school. It is filled with a lot of red. However, if our stated goal is met, higher student performance can be manifested throughout all subgroups, and the gap between subgroups will become extinct. Along these lines, there is one last thing I would like to show you. Returning to this page, click on the link Subgroup Trends by School and System, and then on the respective subgroup here. This page may take a minute to load, but you will be able to view your subgroup's trends by subject and grade on a school, system, and state level. If the results show a flat horizontal line at 0, there's probably no data for this criteria. In conclusion, our research allows you to find results for every public school in the state of Alabama by grade, subject, and subgroup for each year. We believe this can serve as an evaluation of success, a benchmark for student improvement, and as an indication of the effectiveness of your tax dollars. Whether your scores are dark red or dark green, everyone can improve. We hope these comparisons help you identify the areas where schools are succeeding and where they need help. The next step is for you to ask how you can help make these improvements happen.